Former Vice President Dick Cheney was asked about the Senate's torture report earlier this week. Let's listen to his inane defense of it.
We've got Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, who's the mastermind of 9/11, who has killed 3,000 Americans. He is in our possession. We know he's the architect. And what are we supposed to do? Kiss him on both cheeks and say, please, please, tell us what you know? Of course not. We did exactly what needed to be done in order to catch those who were guilty on 9/11 and to prevent a further attack. And we were successful on both parts.
This report says it was not successful.
The report's full of crap, excuse me. I said hooey yesterday. Let me use the real word.
You're on cable. It's
okay. You can bleep it. Yeah, okay.
That last part, it's okay. You can bleep it. He must have gotten a lot of heat for using the word hooey because hooey is a stupid word. Yeah, no one's saying that you should kiss Khalid Sheikh Mohammed on both cheeks and then like bow down to him. Like it's not like you have that option and then the option of putting tubes up his ass. You find other methods of interrogation that are effective so you actually get real information from him. I don't understand.
You don't need to find them. We know what they are. We literally know where they are. They're professional interrogators. They should have been in that room. Yeah, I mean, all I was going to do was echo Anna's point that there might be a couple of steps in between kissing him on both cheeks and begging him to help and ramming a hose up his ass.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, why don't we hear a little bit more about that hose ramming? Here's Cheney on anal rehydration therapy.
But at one point, this report describes interrogators pureeing food of one detainee and inserting it in his anus, something the agency called rectal rehydration. I mean, is that torture?
I don't know anything about that specific instance. I can't speak to that. I guess the question is, what are you prepared to do in order to get the truth about future attacks against the United States? Now, that was not one of the authorized or approved techniques. There were 12 of them, as I recall. They were all techniques that we used in training on our own people, even waterboarding. People have been very concerned about waterboarding, calling it torture. First of all, it was not deemed torture by the lawyers. And secondly, it worked. It, in fact, provided us the information we needed to prevent future attacks.
Wait, really fast. So he said there it was not deemed torture by the lawyers, meaning the lawyers they told to say it's not torture. However, it was previously defined as torture for decades and decades in the Army Field Guide, where they specifically said that waterboarding is torture. And the reason we knew that is because it was so heinous throughout the previous, through World War II, when the Chinese were using it.
You know, his own director, the director of the CIA, John Brennan, just said the opposite, that, you know, that it didn't work, right? So we start with that. And then it's just the consistent lie after lie after lie, starting, of course, with the not specific lies, the general lie, the misdirection that, first of all, the lawyers signed off on it and they said it was okay. Right. This whole thing started with, I mean, it's so simple. It's so incredibly simple, this trick that they did. And that's really what it was, is they've tricked us. They tricked us. They were so smart. They're so good at it that they just get people, you get one lawyer to write a memo that says it's okay, and then you get to sign off on everything. And then what I would ask him, and obviously Bret Baier's not going to ask him, if it worked, and because again, to their whole point is that, look, it worked. It worked, it worked, it worked. They rely on that. Well, then can't we kill people? Like, if it works and it saves lives, and you know you've got the bad guy, well, I would line up 3 of the bad guys, and I'd say, you know, when's the next attack coming and where it is, and, you know, how do we stop it? Whatever action, intelligence they want from it. And if they don't say anything, I shoot one of the guys in the head. Yeah. And he dies, and he goes, all right, now it's you, right? I bet you get some, I bet it would work.
Or their families. I mean, we threaten to kill their families. If it works and if it saves thousands of American lives, why not actually pick up their families from whatever the country from, line them up, and then ask him to reveal information?
I mean, I get your point, but like, then some people would be like, well, those are innocents.
Yeah,
right?
Well, except that we already know that we tortured innocents.
Right, but they in their, again, Orwellian trickery that they engage in, they set up well, these are the worst guys in the world. Well, then kill them. Who cares? We all know what's going to happen to them eventually anyway. Right? They're going to get executed. Just move it along. Right? So would he do that? If it was going to say, would you execute 2 of these guys in front of 5 other guys?
If he was given free reign, what do you think he would draw the line at? And I don't doubt. Look, I don't doubt that he. Look, first of all, I think he's primarily driven by money, but I also think that he thinks that he's doing what he needs to do to protect the country. But I also think that he doesn't really care how effective it is. I think that if he thinks it had a 1% chance of generating usable information, he doesn't care about any of the other consequences of it, so he'll agree to it.
He cares about, I'm sorry, real quick. He cares about projecting an image for himself and the president that they were the tough motherfuckers that kept us out of danger. It didn't matter what it was. That's what this was all about. It was about getting reelected in 2004, and it worked, because otherwise we would have no chance that that bozo and that Darth Vader-like character were going to get reelected in, is that what we did up there?
Oh, we didn't put the helmet on him.
That those characters, that those guys were going to get reelected. But they were, because we were in the middle of a war, and we thought, well, I guess we're supposed to support these guys in the war, and we haven't been attacked yet. By the way, we weren't attacked yet in part because to the terrorists / Iraqis, right, we put 4,000 Americans right in front of them. Yeah, we kept America safe. 4,000 Americans died. Died in Iraq because you presented them to the people who wanted to kill us.
They kept launching the attacks. They just didn't have to come all the way to America to do it.
Yeah, it turned out to be a little easier.